Hello, this is Diana Olenik, the host of the Alkimia Success Show. And today, again, we have an amazing woman. I'm so thankful for Layne Lyons to be here today. She is a lawyer and legal expert for women entrepreneurs looking to grow and expand their businesses while being legally protected. She is also the creator of the Umbrella Method, which is a way to simplify protections, making them easy for anyone to understand. This sounds all amazing. I can't wait to see how she got started and how did she create all of this for yourself. Thank you so much, Layne. And please let us know, how did you get started in this amazing journey as a lawyer?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me here, Diana. This is wonderful. I really appreciate it. And hi to everybody who's listening and watching. Thanks for having me. And yeah, that is a great question. How did I get started as a lawyer? Well, I guess I got started as a lawyer as a kid, right? Just, always wanting to prove things. My dad was a lawyer and a judge. So I think, it's kind of in the family, in the blood. But how did I get started being a legal expert for women entrepreneurs? That's a great story. So I've been a lawyer for 25, almost 26 years now, which is hard to imagine, but it's true. And how did I get started? Well, I graduated from Duke Law School in 1995. And when I first graduated, I immediately started working as a district attorney, prosecuting sex crimes, what was then called sex crimes. It's now called special victims. And when I finished my tour of duty, as we call it, at the district attorney's office, I opened up my own firm, a boutique law firm, specializing in protecting children's rights, defending children's rights. I was a courtroom lawyer. And as happens to many lawyers, I got burnt out. And I learned firsthand the importance of self-care through my own health crisis. I actually ended up being completely burned out and in a motorized wheelchair without the use of my arms or my legs for 5 years. And 13 doctors said I would never walk again, and that this was just it. I should just take my prescriptions and sit in my wheelchair and continue with my life like that. But in typical me fashion, I didn't accept that. And I actually went on an 8-year healing quest all over the world, including Europe and South America and Central America, to try to find some alternative methods to cure what doctors were calling incurable fatigue. And along the way, many treatments later, I found a few things that worked and some alternative treatments that started me walking again. And one thing that I really found that worked was the power of food as medicine. And when I got up and out of my wheelchair, I wanted to go and share this power of food as medicine with other women. And I went back to school and I became a nutrition coach, and I started working with women entrepreneurs to help them to not get into burnout the way I had, to protect their energy. I earned the nickname Energy Magician. And I was loving it. I was helping women, making a big difference in their lives, and on the top of my game. And then an opportunity to partner with another coach came along, kind of a collaboration or a joint venture, if you will. And that's when I made a huge mistake. I entered into the working relationship with her with no written agreement. And even though I'm a lawyer, right? And I know why I did it. The same reason why so many women tell me that they don't have contracts. I thought, we're on the same page, everything's in alignment, it's all lovey-dovey, it's all friendly, it's so far removed from the world of law and the world, the boardrooms and the contracts, that I didn't want to, quote, make waves. So I just got into the relationship with her with no written agreement. And you can imagine, you can guess it, the unthinkable happened and I got completely burnt. She swiped all of my content, all of my money, and all of my hard work went down the drain, and I got completely burnt. And I know I should have known better, but I really never imagined that anything like that was going to happen to me. And at the end of the day, there was nothing I could do about it because I had no written agreement. And I remember how I felt when it first happened. First, I felt shocked, and then I got angry. But then in typical me fashion, I got motivated. And I sat down right then and there, and I started to draft all of the agreements that I wished I would have had with her, everything that I would have needed to protect myself. And when I was done with that, I started drafting all of the agreements that every entrepreneur needs to protect herself, her hard work, and all of her investments. And I called that suite of contracts the legal umbrella. So that's how I got started. I never thought that I was going to go back and practice law again. But what happened was, when I started speaking to entrepreneurs, I started speaking to other health coaches who had graduated from my same program. And I found out that none of them had contracts either. None of them had written agreements either. And I was like, whoa, I really need to fix this. So I think right then and there is how it all got started. I got on a mission to make sure that every single entrepreneur that I know, that I come into contact with, every single woman that I know is protected, so that the same thing that happens to me doesn't happen to her. And that's like one of those things in life that happens all the time, right? I know, Diana, like things that seem at first like they are a catastrophe, but in the long run, they're the very thing that sets us up for the greatest wins that we ever have. I love what I do. I love protecting women's businesses. I love taking legal concepts that I know are intimidating and overwhelming for people. I think legal is like math. As soon as you start talking numbers and you start talking legal, it's the same thing. People's like eyes glaze over and they just want to stick their head in the sand, and they want to just think the whole thing is going to go away. So knowing that, and having the experience of being a lawyer for 26 years and having worked with children, I know how important it is to take these kind of complicated and overwhelming legal concepts and make everything really simple, really straightforward, easy to understand. And so I think that that's my secret sauce, is making everything, turning legal into very small, bite-sized, actionable steps, so that people don't get overwhelmed, so that they don't have the excuse of, oh, I don't understand. That keeps them from taking that next step, from building their business. I think the biggest thing that I do is help women grow their businesses, because I believe that when we're in fear, we can't grow, right? You know that, right? You know that feeling when you're looking over your shoulder, worrying that something that you do, or sometimes more importantly, don't do, or something that you say to one of your clients is going to come back and bite you in the buns. You're not able to share yourself fully. You're not able to really step up when you're afraid that your content is going to be swiped. When you're afraid that if you offer a payment plan, it's not going to be they're not going to follow through. They're not going to actually pay. When you are afraid to raise your prices because you don't have structures in place, foundations to set your business up properly, I think we end up staying stuck and we don't grow. So that's what I like to say, is that I'm like Miracle Grow for your business, because I come in and I help you move out of that fear and into that confidence and peace of mind, where you know that your business is set up properly. You know that the foundations are handled, and you know you're protected. And then you're able to move ahead and grow and build the business that's the business of your dreams, right?
Yes, that's all amazing. Yeah, of course, I was familiar with your story. I find very interesting how we as professionals, even being in the same field, can also make mistakes and learn from that, and also combine that with the expertise, the knowledge, and get something even bigger, something more beautiful, something more meaningful for people. So I love that. And you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, because one thing is to being a lawyer and another thing is become an entrepreneur. So how was that transition, and what difficulties did you find in that new role? I say that when we have our own profession, I'm an engineer, and also when you enter into trying to be another role more, which is a business owner, there are specific things that we also have to learn. How was that for you, being a lawyer and then coming into the world of the entrepreneurial, field?
Yeah, that is such a great question. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is I can't do it all myself.
Okay.
And I shouldn't do it all myself because I'm not a specialist in so many areas.
Yeah.
So built for me, building a team has been the biggest thing that has moved my business from where I started with just me trying to, I think when we first start out, we try to do it all,
Yes.
right? So for me, I was trying to write the contracts, make the sales calls, post on social media, manage my calendar, manage my inbox, book podcasts, be visible, all the things, right? All the things to all the people, right? And then what was happening is it doesn't leave enough time because we're so busy working in our businesses that we don't ever have the time to work on our businesses. We don't have the time to take that step back, that bigger picture, and figure out where do I want to grow to make those executive decisions. So the biggest thing that I have done is put together a team and bring together other women, which is great because now it's not just me, I have 9 amazing women on my team.
Wow.
Be able to have other women be able to do their passion, right? There's somebody on the team who loves systems. She loves systems and organization. And although I love that stuff too, I'm like a total geek about it. I don't have the time to be able to be all things to all people, right? So if I want to be visible and write contracts and help people with their legal issues and help women get their businesses protected, we have to let go of some of those other tasks that maybe, we love. I love being Snoopy and being in my own inbox, but I have been banned from my inbox. I have to just trust that my team has it. That's a hard one. And it's certainly not something for a starting out entrepreneur. For a starting out entrepreneur, I think the biggest thing is to figure out what you want to do, who you want to serve, and then put those foundations in place so that you have that confidence to get out there and share. Right? Like if you're a new entrepreneur and you're wanting to post on social media, but you know that if you give your information and education, what we sometimes call advice, but we're careful not to call it advice in the legal world, you know that if you put up your information and education, someone could take that information and use it or misuse it and then come back and blame you for any negative results. And I think that really holds women back from sharing themselves fully. That fear, it's not so much, I don't hear so much from people that it's the fear that somebody's going to swipe their content. I mean, that's of course an important thing, and a lot of what I do is protecting women's content. But there's also, I think, this almost like energetic contraction when we're going to share, but we're a little bit afraid that what we share might be used in the wrong way. So we have to make sure to protect ourselves so that we have that confidence, that peace of mind, so we can get out there and really be expansive and really share ourselves fully. And I think a big part of that comes from knowing that you're buttoned up, knowing that your business is protected and that you're safe, and you can have that confidence to really get out there and share yourself and your message and everything that you know in a really full way. Is that right?
Yes, for sure. So speaking about that, and now that we are so globalized, which is awesome, having access to this amazing, an ocean in the markets of information. My question for you is how you can actually serve people that is in another country. If someone from Australia is interested in you anyways, do you have ways where you can still advice in that sense? And it's because my understanding is that in different countries, sometimes they have different laws in terms of that, in businesses. And so how do you go around that?
Yeah, that's right. So I am a US-based lawyer. And so my work specializes in women who have businesses that are based in the US. Even if a US-based business has clients overseas, it's really about where the business is located. And those are the laws that we have to follow. I do work with Canadian clients as well. But when I have had clients, and I've had a few clients from Spain and a few leads from Spain and from Australia and 2 from New Zealand, we've had to connect them with a local lawyer who could help them, because we can't, just like I was saying, it's the exact same thing that I was just saying, that we have to specialize. We can't be all things, even if we want to. we can't do all the things. So I think the way that, as an advice piece for women listening, the way that you become an expert in something is you stay in your lane, in your field of expertise. You don't try to say, well, I'm going to help women with their, let's say, social media marketing. You don't say, I'm going to help them with their social media marketing. I'm also going to be a VA. I'm also going to help women with their graphics. You can, if you want to be a one-stop shop, but I think the thing that makes people take that leap to become an expert is when they hone down. And for me, that's being an expert in what I know is women's businesses in the United States and a little bit in Canada. I'm familiar with Canadian businesses as well. And I think that's one way that we can keep ourselves growing is to develop within the same area, the same field that we've defined, and then find other ways to expand. That's not to discourage anyone if you want to be a one-stop agency and you want to do social media and the graphics and the content. I'm just saying we can't be all things to all people, and we have to sometimes choose and narrow that focus, at least I always say, pick it for 6 to 12 months and try that. And if at the end of 12 months, you're like, you know what, my favorite thing was the other thing, then you can pivot. But I think that's a big thing I see is overwhelm with a lot of women who are just starting their businesses because they're trying to do all the things.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for that. Yes, that is a great advice. So do you have any specific story from US base of a client that really, really gave you an insight or something that you want to share about a special customer experience that you had?
Sure. Let me think of a juicy one. Well, we're here in the United States right now, just about to have the election. So that's, of course, on everybody's mind. Yeah. And I did have a graphic designer who has a team of women working for her, doing her graphic design. And she came to me last week and said, oh, golly. So one of the other designers put up a post on the client's feed with a new logo that had not been approved. And unfortunately, it looked a bit, it looked like a swastika, to be blunt. Yeah. And the client got very upset. Of course, my client, who is the lead designer on this team, was very, very concerned and upset about this. And so we have to have protections in place that say when we're going to put deliverables out there, we have to have a process for saying that things are going to be approved by clients before we put them out there. Yeah, so systems, right? So that is a story that just happened that I think was kind of, nobody expected it. Another great one is, a big thing that we do with our legal documents is we create aligned expectations with the people that we work with. And most people think, oh, my business is really straightforward. There's nothing in my business that's subject to any interpretation. But you will be surprised what people think and what people assume. And I always say, if you don't set up expectations for your clients, they will fill in the blanks for you. And usually with way grander expectations than you were ever thinking you were going to be delivering, especially when money changes hands, right? People's expectations can really kind of grow and expand and think like, oh, I'm going to get all of this stuff. She's going to post every single day for me on social media, when the social media manager maybe only meant she was going to post twice a week. But we don't have expectations set up. And here's an incredible story that I think is really hard to imagine how this client's expectations got so out of line. But here goes. So a woman came to me who was not a client yet and told me this story. She eventually became a client and told me this story. She is a health coach, a nutrition coach, specializing in helping women clean up their diets, transitioning them to a whole food, gluten-free, high protein, high quality diet. And they were doing something called, one of her packages, she offers something called a grocery store tour. And what a grocery store tour is, for any of our listeners who don't know, it's where a health coach or a nutritionist takes her client to the grocery store, and they go through the store aisle by aisle, and the nutritionist teaches the client how to shop. So now we got the scene set. Here they are in the organic food store, right? All the yummy organic food is lining the shelves, and they're going through aisle by aisle. And the coach is saying, oh, I really love like these Mary's crackers. I think she said they were the Mary's crackers. They're full of omega-3s, and they're going to keep you, they're full of seeds and omega-3s, and they're going to keep you fuller longer than like an empty cracker, like a rice cracker. And her client says, oh yeah, sure. Put those in the basket. I'll definitely get those. And they go to the olive oil section, and the nutrition coach is saying, oh, I really like this olive oil, even though it's $16 because it's really high quality and it's cold pressed. And the client says, oh yeah. Put that in the cart. I'll definitely use that. And they go like this through the entire store, aisle by aisle. And they get to the checkout, and they put the food onto the belt, and the cashier is there charging up the food. And the nutrition coach steps off the line because she had gotten a voicemail while they were working, and she goes to check her voicemail. And the client is just standing there and standing there. And she finally clears her throat, and she says to the coach, aren't you going to pay for the groceries? Yep. Unclear expectations, which unfortunately ended up in a big fight right there in the grocery store. And because this is the grocery store where this coach takes all of her clients and where she shops personally herself, she suggested they move it out into the parking lot. And they went in the parking lot, and it got heated, and it ended up in a big screaming match with the client screaming, you're fired.
Wow.
Right? And of course the coach called me and said, what should I do? And I said, send me your client agreement. And she said, I don't have one. Right? So unclear expectations. I mean, that's something that I don't think the average person would ever imagine, that the coach is going to pay for your groceries. You're paying her for her time to show you how to shop. Where it got in this client's mind that the coach was going to pay for the groceries is a little bit confusing to me, but it just goes to show you that people can have really unusual and a little bit extreme expectations. And if we don't, as the leaders of our business, as entrepreneurs, if we don't define those expectations for our clients, they're going to fill in those blanks for us. And we definitely don't want that to happen. So by using legal documents at the beginning of your relationship, before you sell, for example, a grocery store tour, defining what it includes, for this is an example only, for $125, I will shop with you for an hour. I will teach you all of the different foods, what to buy, all the different things to avoid, and maybe it will include 3 recipes from things that we purchased at the grocery store today. But it doesn't include the groceries. So these are the ways that we set things up, right? Going back to the example with the designer, setting up that the client must approve all deliverables before you put them on her social media channel and cause her to have some kind of loss of clients. We need to know that, right? We need to have these structures and systems in place so that we can run our businesses smoothly and keep them drama-free. And that's the big thing that I do. I help women grow their businesses by setting up these foundational pieces so that they have systems and policies. Even something like a refund policy. We have women who are out there doing business. They have a refund policy in their mind, but it's not written. It's certainly not shared with the client, and it's certainly not signed off on by the client. And this is a really tricky one, because it used to be that refunds could only come if a client went to the entrepreneur and said, I'm not happy, I want a refund, let's talk about it. But the tricky thing now is that women clients can go directly to Square or Venmo or PayPal and ask for a refund straight from Square or Venmo or PayPal. Let's say it's Square, right? What happens is the client goes to Square and says, I'm not happy with this purchase. Let's just say it was $1,000, right? I'm not happy with this purchase. I want my money back. And then Square reaches out to the entrepreneur and says, show me your documents, show me proof that we should side with you and keep the money in your account. And if the entrepreneur doesn't have a written agreement with a clearly stated refund policy, all she has are the emails back and forth between her and the client. And what do those show? You know, those show sometimes scheduling, rescheduling, maybe that the two of you both love the British baking show, or you both love baby goats. So, and that's not going to help you at all. What if you don't have anything? It's going to be very difficult for the agent in Square, even if she wants to side with you. And probably the likelihood is that money is going to get dinged out of your account. But if you have a refund policy in place and you have it clearly stated, it's in a written agreement, and you and your client have both signed it, then things go really differently. Then Square emails you and says, hey, your client is requesting a refund, show us the proof. And you're able to send Square a screenshot of the section of the contract that says no refunds after 7 days, or whatever your policy is, no refunds after 24 hours, no refunds after 7 days, whatever your policy is. You take a screenshot of your written agreement, another screenshot of the bottom of the contract showing that you both signed it, and then you attach the whole contract to the email. You send that off to Square, and then things go really differently. The Square agent receives your proof and is very able to say, oh gosh, of course, there was a stated refund policy. It says no refunds after 7 days. This client is asking for a refund 3 months down the road. Certainly we're going to side with the entrepreneur, and then the money stays in your account nice and safe and sound where it belongs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that online now put us in a different situation, and businesses are not being done as traditionally were done, and locally when we used to trust people so easily. With online, is so globalized that we need even more legal protections in place to make sure that we are not getting into bigger and bigger issues. Right. And in the online world, I see also very often a lot of problems with trademarks and all of these other situations, and copyright, and a lot of issues related with content. And I can see how it's definitely something that it should be stated somewhere, that nobody can start a business without those legal protections. It should be there. Like, you cannot register your business without the contracts or something like that, right, to help people. It should be obligatory, right? What do you think?
Just because people end up in hot water if they don't. So it's, without having those foundations, it's really hard to run a business. You're kind of just flying by the seat of your pants, fingers crossed, hoping nothing terrible happens. And you know, content is a big asset in your business. So my program, The Legal Umbrella, is called The Legal Umbrella, of course, because you know, an umbrella keeps you safe and dry in the rain, and it keeps your business safe and dry. But also because the letters in the word umbrella, each of the letters stands for 6 key elements that you must protect in your business. And the very first one, U, is for unique content. Because as you're saying, your content is the biggest asset in your business. This doesn't just include, people just think, oh, this is like my website. Yeah, it's your website, but it's also your social media. It's everything that you say online. It's all of your handouts. And it's all of your original techniques that you come up with, that you teach to your clients. So let's say that you have a method that you've come up with, or if it's, let's say that you're a health and wellness coach and you do breathing techniques, or you're a business coach and you have a very special way of teaching women how to budget their money. That technique has to be protected. Otherwise it's going to get swiped. So U in umbrella stands for unique content. And that is the first thing that you must protect in your business. And of course we do that in a bunch of different ways, but we use legal contracts to do that. Do you think it would be helpful if I went over the other letters in umbrella?
Yes.
Okay, super. So U, we've gone over U, perfect. So just follow along using the letters of the word umbrella. So U is for unique content. M is for money, right? We were just talking about refunds, but refunds are only part of it. You know, we work so hard to make our money. And what can happen if we're not careful is the money that we make can be taken out of our accounts. So how does this happen? Well, this happens with refunds. We were just talking about refunds and Square. This happens with chargebacks. And the biggest way that this happens is with unpaid invoices.
Yes.
So if you don't have a system in place to make sure that you can collect on a payment plan, you can't safely offer a payment plan. Because if you're offering this payment plan and as soon as, let's say that it's a 6-month payment plan, but you've delivered the work in 2 months or 3 months, but your client is still paying, how do you continue to enforce it when you've done your part and her payment plan is still going? So how do you handle that, right? Like what would we do? So M is for money. We've got to have our money protected so that the money that we earn stays in our accounts. Okay, that's U, M, B. B is for brand. And you were already hinting at this when you were talking about trademarks. Yeah. We've got to make sure that we protect our brand. Your brand is everything that you so carefully choose to call in those ideal clients, right? To attract clients to work with you. So it's your business name, it's your program names, it's your colors, your fonts, the look and feel of your website, your headshots. So we've got to make sure that we protect your headshots, your photographs, your brand photos. We've got to make sure that we're protecting all of that. So that's B for brand. Okay, UMBR. R is for relationships. This is my favorite part because this is the heart of any entrepreneur's business, is the relationships. And you have to protect those relationships. We were talking just now about expectations. We've got to make sure that we set up proper expectations using written legal documents to do that. Your relationships are with your one-on-one clients, your group clients, your social media followers, if you have a membership group, if you have a mastermind group, and then every single person on your team. So everybody who's working on your team has to all be on the same page, working together, knowing what your business policies are. So if you have relationships, which of course you do, because if you're an entrepreneur, that's the heartbeat of your business, you've got to make sure that you're defining expectations in those relationships so things stay on track. All right, UMBRE. E is for your e-presence. Your e-presence is your entire online empire. So people think, oh, my website, but it's also your whole social media following, all of your social media channels. It's every email that you write. And you know, I think you were just alluding to this about when we do business online, we oftentimes work with people who we never meet face to face. Sometimes we don't even see them face to face, so that it's just behind the screen of an email. And we are not having the luxury of feeling another person's energy to make sure that we're aligned with them, or even we could get burnt even if we do. So we have to make sure that every single time we're online, we're not exposing ourselves to how somebody else does business. We're still in charge of our business, and we're still playing the game safely, in a safe and smart way. So that's e-presence. And then we come to the end of umbrella, which is LLA, which stands for your love life attitude. This is the thing that you have to protect most of all. You know, I think the reason why a lot of us become entrepreneurs in the first place is so that we can have control over our own businesses. So we can build the business the way that we want to. But what happens sometimes is we're doing everything by ourselves, and we don't have a customer service department to send an unhappy customer to, or a collections department to send, you know, in a big company, we have a collections department, a customer service department, but we're here by ourselves. And we don't have a customer service department to send unhappy people to. We don't have a collections department to try to collect unpaid invoices. So we're trying to do it all ourselves. And what happens is sometimes that can kind of brew into a storm of dissatisfaction and cause us to not love our businesses and not want to go and face that mess every single day. So we've got to protect that love life attitude, or in another way, our sanity, above all else. And we've got to make sure that we do that by putting structures in place, foundations that help us stay on track and keep our business running and flowing without drama and negativity coming in to rain on the parade, right?
Yes. Yes, that's awesome. Speaking about the legal umbrella method, I feel it's super exciting about hearing all of this, how you created this framework. I like to know, how do you actually enforce it, or how do you deliver, this umbrella method? Is it comprised of general, study lessons? Is it a course, or is actually the type of consultation that you make? Or, sorry, I just want to clarify.
Yeah, perfect. That's a great question. So the legal umbrella, all the essentials, is the base product. That is the first place to start. That's a suite of 10 contracts. It's
Okay.
all the contracts that an entrepreneur needs to protect herself, her business, and all her hard work, or a man can use them as well, but our businesses are women. So we have, the focus is on women here. So, and what happens is we have a call. I get on the phone and I take a deep dive into each and every one of my clients' businesses so that I can identify all of the potential exposures. Exposure is just a fancy legal word that means places where you could get in trouble, places where you're vulnerable in your business. And we get on the phone. I do a full audit of your business. I take a deep dive to find out exactly where your exposures or vulnerabilities are. And then I craft the exact plug, the 10 contracts that you need for your specific business so that you're protected on all sides using those 6 things that we just spoke about from the umbrella. And then you get these 10 contracts. They come to you in a client portal. And each contract has an instruction book that comes with it, a 5-page instruction book that explains exactly what the contract is, why you are using it, where you use it, when you use it, who you use it with, and really importantly, how you use it, so that you feel fully supported as you go through the process. And then everything that I do comes with full support. You get 30 days of support from me, not from anyone on my team, directly from me, so that I can work with you to build your contracts the way that we need to, so that we install them into your business in the proper way. That's really important to me, because if I don't give support, and I mean, everything is written in plain English. So it's not like when you get the contract, you have any concerns of, oh, I don't understand these legal terms. There's no legal terms in them. Everything is plain English, straightforward. That is the most important thing to me. So that people, to make legal easy, to make it simple and easy for people to understand, so that they don't feel intimidated and overwhelmed by it. Yeah. But if there are any questions, I am here for you. Unlimited support for 30 days so that we're able to be together. I consider myself part of each one of my clients' teams. I'm here with them. After you sign up with me, you're going to grow your business, and I'm here with you every step of the way as you do that. So that I'm here for you in with that first purchase of the legal umbrella, all the essentials, those first 10 contracts that you need to get started. And then once you grow, like for example, many of my clients eventually decide they want to host a podcast like you do, like the Alkimia Show. And they want to host a podcast. They need contracts for that. They need contracts for the experts. They need contracts for themselves as speakers. A lot of people want to host retreats. They want to start hiring a dream team. These are what I consider add-ons or bells and whistles contracts. I have an enormous vault of contracts for every single thing that a woman can do, that an entrepreneur can do in their business. So memberships, masterminds, collaborations, every single piece that you need as you grow. And we get started with all the essentials package, but as you grow, I'm here to support you as you start each new endeavor and take each next step in your business to help each of my clients grow to get to that next level, but to do it in a safe way, so that as they grow, they have that confidence and that peace of mind, and they know that they're protected as they're growing, so that they can shine bigger and take on those bigger opportunities. So the way you get started is you book a call with me. And the first step is you can go to my website and download the legal checklist. That's going to give you exactly what contracts you need, depending on what kind of a business you have. It's a very, very simple, very straightforward checklist with everything that you need. You can go to LayneLyons.com. I think we'll have it in the show notes, but it's LAYNE. lyons.com. And you'll see right there on the first page is the checklist.
Mhm.
You'll download that. At the end of the checklist, there's an invitation to book a call with me. And you will apply for a call with me, and then my team will review it and we'll set up a time. And that's when I'll take a deep dive into your business. And after we talk, I'll send a proposal for exactly which contracts you need for your business, depending on how your business is set up, what your offerings are, and what your hopes are in the next 12 months. We set it up, we kind of take 1 year chunks.
Mhm.
And so we set it up depending on what you currently offer and what your goals are. And then we get that all set up for you. And then when you enroll, you get your very own client portal, and all of your contracts are there. It's kind of like a swanky little treehouse, little private club where the two of us communicate about all things legal. And I'm here with you every step of the way to keep it simple and really easy for you to understand. Because when you're stuck, you can't grow. So my whole thing is to help women get unstuck, make legal very easy and straightforward, and be here for full support with you as you grow.
Mhm. Yeah, that's amazing. I'm so in love with all of these. It's so helpful, so valuable, and it's a very easy step to just leave aside when, especially with creative, entrepreneurs, because it's a step that doesn't seem so apparent, so urgent, to have.
Yes.
So I can imagine so many people related with this. And my next question was going to be that in terms of the contracts, they are, I guess, a little bit the standard, so people from Canada can use them. Also, is because the audience is also mostly from Canada.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. Everything is there. It's not the same contract that goes to a California client as a Canadian client. Canada has its own laws, specifically in privacy. So the United States has CALOPA, Europe has GDPR, and Canada has PIPEDA, which is Canada's privacy law. And so the Canadian contracts are specifically drafted to be compliant with Canadian law. So you'll have that opportunity to have things be compliant with and I am not familiar with the laws in every single province. So those things are going to be checked out by a local lawyer. That's what you do is you get the contracts, you fill them out, they're completely ready to go. And then if you have concerns about your local jurisdiction, you're able to get that checked out.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. That's amazing. Very, we're very, very thankful for all your amazing insight and expertise and having the time to actually be here and share all of that. So what are the projects that you're working on right now? Are you creating something at this point, or you're concentrated right now in the clients that you have at the moment? What is new happening to you?
Yeah, so I'm always building my contract vault, right? I'm always writing new custom contracts for clients who come to me with something that's a little different.
Yeah.
So that's not the standard contract. So I've got this ever-growing vault of contracts, which is great because then once I draft a contract, it always seems the next week somebody asks me for like the exact same thing. Yeah. So I'm working on always building the legal umbrella, always supporting my clients. I have a very full business, so I'm here with lots of visibility and lots of opportunities to bring in new clients and serve more women. Mm-hmm. And something I'm working on in later 2021, we'll be launching a concierge trademarking services. So I'll be helping women and businesses trademark their awesome names and logos. That's coming. That's a little spoiler alert. I think this is the first show. This is the first show I mentioned that on. So that will be late 2021. That's going to be rolling out.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, congratulations for that. It's very, very many of us need all of that support. And I'm super excited that you are taking the leadership and, serving all of that amazing group of people that is struggling right now to comply with all the legal regulations and with all the protections for their business. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me. This has been amazing.
Thanks so much. So is there anything that you wish I had asked you today, Layne?
Oh, gosh. What's your favorite color?
Red.
Oh, and you're wearing a red top. My favorite color is blue. And Look at that. Surrounded by.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so nice. I want to appreciate and say a lot about your energy.
Oh,
It's really contagious. I feel that you have such a nice style to explain
yeah.
concepts and your story and everything. So I'm pretty sure that that same style is what is in these amazing legal protections that you created for people. So that's why I'm inviting anybody to go and check your document that you have for free, your checklist, so they can get started and get in contact with you to protect their businesses from now.
Yeah. And if anybody listens to this podcast and is ready to book a call now, you can just go to bookwithlayne.com.
Yes.
Layne's got 5 letters, Layne. You can go to bookwithlayne.com and go ahead and apply for a call to get on my schedule. You can also always go to the website, which is LayneLyons.com. There's a place to book a call there, and we'll take that deep dive into your business and get you all set up. So yeah, and you can also follow me on social media. I'm Layne Lyons JD on both Facebook and Instagram.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And for anybody who is watching this video, please like, subscribe, and comment, because this is the way that we can grow all together and that we can bring more amazing guests like Layne. And if you're listening to the podcast, please review, download the episode, and rate the episode. Thanks so much, and see you in the next episode. Bye for
Thank you,
now.
everyone. Thank you, Diana.